So I want to say a big welcome, Justin. Thanks so much for coming along.
Hey guys, thanks for having me. Really appreciate it. What a crowd you got too. This is awesome.
I know, it's really cool, isn't it, to see everyone here? And yeah, as we just said, Justin, thanks so much for coming along. And for those of you that don't know who Justin is the founder of and CEO or CMO of Empire Flippers, which is one of the world's largest brokers. And a lot of you are going to get to know Empire Flippers over the years because these guys do the bigger deals, okay? And particularly at the moment, we know the market's running hot with FBA sites, e-com sites and stuff. So what I want to talk to you, Justin, and get you to share with everyone is, I guess, some insights, and then also what the next kind of direction is for Empire Flippers as well. So shall we start with, let's get into the exciting stuff. What's hot at the moment? Like what for you at the front line, you're doing the biggest deals ever out there. This is big for you guys. What's super hot at the moment?
Yeah, well, again, thanks for having me on. Obviously, we started off pretty small. It was just me and my business partner, Joe, back in 2012, 2013, brokering some small sites. And, as you said, we've gotten larger and larger to the point where, we did 80 million in total sales last year. And then the surprising thing is we've done now 80 million in the first 2 quarters of this year. So we've done all what we did all of 2020 in the first half of 2021. So yeah, business is booming. And, as you mentioned, like one of the things that's really booming is Amazon FBA. And, the reason this has happened, this is kind of the e-commerce space, right? And the reason this happened is, private equity got interested in these e-commerce businesses. They were just kind of cruising along. We were selling a lot of content-based sites, Amazon Associate sites and AdSense sites. And we've done that for a very long time, in addition to e-commerce and other types of businesses. And, for one reason or another, private equity got really interested in Amazon FBA a couple of years ago. And that's really ramped up in 2020. And what we've seen in 2021 are these massive companies, and you can look them up, Thrasio and Perch and others, that have been just swallowing whole as many e-commerce and FBA businesses as they can. And so what that's done for the multiples is it's shot FBA multiples through the roof. So they've increased over time, particularly in the last 12 to 18 months, they've increased significantly. Now, a lot of the content site guys were kind of left behind. They're like, why did I get into this? Like, why didn't I do e-commerce or FBA like that? I would have hit the market. That'd have been great. Well, the funny thing is a lot of those guys are getting into content sites now. So they've kind of, they're still swallowing up the FBA, but they're looking for like lead gen that can help them sell their products on Amazon. And so that's kind of the newer hot market, the new-ish hot market are content sites that feed the aggregator e-commerce businesses on FBA.
Yeah, and just for the guys who are brand new, FBA is fulfilled by Amazon. So they're the e-commerce sites that sell a product that are fulfilled by the Amazon platform. So it's a e-commerce based on Amazon.
And we don't teach that because it's not, Liz and I, because of our background with manufacturing businesses, we're not interested in businesses that own physical stock. We only have what's called content sites, which is all about advertising and getting affiliate commissions. And this is what Justin's just saying with us. Now, I should give another definition too, shouldn't I, Justin, is private equity. Those of you that don't know, private equity, let's just call them big corporate buyers with pretty much unlimited budgets. And so they're driving up all these prices. So Justin, for you at Empire Flippers, say before COVID, what was the kind of a good solid range website that you would sell for people? So to give everyone an idea of what Empire Flippers does.
Yeah, so if you have an Amazon Associate site or a content site, maybe it's got 30 pages or 50 pages or 100 pages of content, and it's kind of cruising along. Let's say you're making, $1,500 a month in earnings over the last 12 months, right? That's a nice solid site. That's kind of like the entry level. Our minimum is generally $1,000 a month. So that's kind of the minimum that you're going to get in and sell a site with us. 1,500, 1,000 to 1,500 is kind of the minimum. And those typically, I'd say last year, those were selling for 24 to 28 times their monthly net profit. We're seeing that creep up this year. So you're more in the 33, 35, even 38 times profit.
Wow.
If it's a really solid site.
Okay, awesome. And So the difference with you, so a lot of our guys, because they're total beginners, it's great spot for them to start on, say, Flipper, buying these little tiny sites and learn how to work them and work through. What's the difference? So everyone knows, because obviously once people become more experienced, they need to be looking at Empire Flippers as well and seeing what sort of listings that you have, but also now in this market, we're suggesting to people, look, you need to be selling as well. So what's the difference that the Empire Flipper does? What do you guys bring to the table with your website brokerage?
Yeah, so there are quite a few people that will buy a site on Flippa, work with it, tinker with it, improve it, and then ultimately end up selling it over at Empire Flippers. And they do that because we're really strong above 100,000. Like, we do the smaller sites, $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 sites, but really kind of our bread and butter for content sites is kind of the $100,000 to $1 million range. We do above that, obviously, but like we do a lot of deals in the $100,000 to $1 million range. And so, you know, if someone's able to buy a site at Flippa, let's say they're buying it at 20, 25 times monthly profit, and then they're able to grow that 2 or 3x that, and then come over and sell it for 35, 38x profit. Not only have they increased the value, increased the earnings of the site double or triple, they've also increased the multiple, so they can 4 or 5x ultimately the exit and the sale of their website.
I think that is something, you've hit on something there that a lot of people don't realize, which is one of the real keys to wealth creation, which is leveraging something like multiples. And this is exactly what they do on the stock market. A business that is trading and making $1 million profit may sell for 5 times that, but if it's 3 to 5 times, but if it's rolled up and listed on the stock exchange, it can sell for 25 times or be valued at 25 times that amount. And it's the same business.
Yes. Yeah, 100%. So
same business, but just in the right value market.
Yes. So that's what all of these like roll-up companies are doing. So, you know, if they're able to buy at, and I'll say 3 times earnings, right? So a 3x or a 4x, 4 times annual earnings, but they're valued themselves at, let's say, 10x or 12x or 15x earnings. Like, I will do that all day, right? If I've got a site that's earning $100,000 a year, and I could buy it for $300,000 and add $1 million to my valuation because I'm 10x that 100,000, all day long I'll buy those sites. And so that's what, you know, when you mentioned private equity, kind of the big, you know, limitless funds are doing. That's what they're doing in our space. And so that's what they're doing. And I mentioned with the Amazon FBA e-commerce businesses, they're now moving into the content site businesses and swallowing those up. And they're doing it for a couple of reasons. Number one, they can send that traffic from those content sites, all those eyeballs and all those visitors. They can now point those eyeballs and visitors to products they sell on Amazon, right? So that's super valuable to them. The other thing they can do is they get to see all of the products that people are buying with the Amazon associate sites. What products are they buying on Amazon? And then they can target those as niches. So it's also niche research for them in terms of what kind of e-commerce products they can add to FBA and what kind of content they should create around it. Yeah, so that's massive in our industry. I mean, it's a no-brainer, and that's why private equity has gotten into the space.
And I think it's only just begun. There's so much more growth there to happen.
So that,
one of your watchers, Malay, was saying they get to double dip on the content sites. That's exactly right too. Like, why would you not buy a content site at, let's say it's earning $10,000 a month? You get those earnings automatically, but you get the additional sales when you're sending all that content, all those eyeballs to your e-commerce
Recommend your own product.
That's an absolute win. And those guys that are buying those sites can buy them for more money, right? Because they're not just relying on the earnings. They're getting the sales from the e-commerce products, right? From the FBA products they're selling. So like a regular content buyer might buy it at 3x, where an aggregator is able to buy it 4 or 5x because it's worth it to them.
And and they've instantly, can everybody see what Justin's saying? They're instantly creating money out of thin air. Literally, they're 10xing their money straight away because they're a publicly listed company. That's our background. That's what we used to do. We were spotters for publicly listed companies. We'd help them buy up what Liz and I were experts in, manufacturing and wholesale import businesses with EBITs of $1 million or more. So we used to do that with bricks and mortar businesses. And guys here, and we've been saying it for years to all of you, haven't you? You guys have been around us for a long time, and now it's coming here to websites. And the obvious advantages to all of our community, to all of us in this, and for Empire Flippers as well, is selling content sites is going to be here to stay now.
So that might give you some ideas, guys, for niches that potentially you could focus on. We've just spoken, Justin, about our content strategy and scaling up content. And if you, even from building from scratch and targeting something around those FBA, those e-commerce niches, are there particular niches that you're seeing in growth in or interest in?
Yeah, I mean, there's a guy, Matt Diggity. I don't know if you're familiar with him or have had him on.
Yeah,
He'd be a great guest for you guys. But he just did a nice data report of kind of all the sites we've sold, I think, over the last couple of years.
Oh,
and
yeah,
some of the interesting ones, like health are really good. The problem is that the SEO can be very difficult in the health space. Home furnishings can be really profitable. So there's a lot of home furnishings. And the reason home furnishings are interesting is because a lot of the aggregators, a lot of the e-commerce private equity guys are buying some of the home furnishings FBA businesses. So now they've bought a lot of those. They bought a lot of those. They're looking for content sites in that space, right?
Because there's big acquisitions happening too. Like, is it Temple and Winster? And,
no, that's a publicly listed company.
Well, they've just bought someone else. Like they're doing acquisitions as well.
Yeah, here in
Australia,
that
homewares kind of area.
Well, you know, the public companies do it because they already know their multiple. They're kind of like, you know, they know where they're at and they can do that all day too. But a lot of the pre-IPO companies, a lot of the private companies that are planning on going public will do it because they know that IPO is coming. So with that coming, now they won't talk about it, right? Because they're not allowed to, but they'll be swallowing companies whole as they lead up to their IPO so they can have a big release.
Yeah.
That is awesome. It's so exciting for everyone here today to hear that. Well, particularly for me, because that's our background. But to me, it's a no-brainer to just be constantly having a portfolio of websites. And obviously you can be selling them off for really high, because I know people freak out at the prices. One of the strategies that I like, I think in a market like this, and you tell me what your thoughts are, I think if you're a person out there and you're buying, say, at the smaller end of the scale, I reckon personally there's merit to paying full price for asking price for the websites. And I know I'm biased, and I know obviously you're biased, but do you want to put in why that can work so well? What's your observation of people that do that in this sort of a marketplace?
Yeah, with the full knowledge that this is super, taking this with a huge grain of salt, that I want you to pay more money for websites. But like the huge grain of salt is generally like the price you're paying or the multiple you're paying is a measurement of risk, right? And so if you find a really fantastically low multiple, that's okay, but understand that there's going to be some high level of risk, right? And I'll just give you an example. In an industry where you don't know what the kind of legal ramifications are going to be, for example, and this is maybe a couple of years ago before marijuana broke out like it did in the US, but kind of the marijuana industry, like you didn't know which way it was going to go. So if you're buying a site or a business in the like vape or marijuana niche, like it was kind of risky. And so you were paying lower multiples for those businesses because you weren't sure what the legislation was going to do, right? And so, you know, whenever there's some risk, it's going to be a lower multiple. And that risk could because of the SEO is a little sketch. It could be because the industry is in question. It could be because it's a fad or a niche. Whereas typically, you're going to pay a higher multiple for something that's established, that has a longer track record, that's less temporary, that's less fatty. Those you're going to pay a higher multiple for. So that's the general rule. The higher multiple means lower risk.
Yeah.
And so with those sorts of sites, the good ones, say the good solid ones that are selling on higher multiples, and between, I'm just thinking for the majority of people in this audience today, say between the $30,000 sale price and $100,000 sale price on Empire Flippers, how quickly are they going at the moment?
So, I mean, typically they'll sell awfully quickly. I mean, you know, we do put people through a process when they're listing with us. So there's like a vetting process. We want to verify their information and make sure it's legitimate. So it'll be a couple of weeks before they get listed. It's not like they just contact us and they go up right away. But a couple of weeks process to get vetted. But once they're vetted, I mean, those can sell inside of a week, week and a half, 2 weeks. Like that's pretty common.
Wow.
There are sites that take, particularly if it's like a real esoteric niche. So let's say it's something that requires some specialized knowledge, like I don't know, something scientific, right? Where like the buyer would have to really be into that niche, for example. It might take a month, 2 months to sell, but just kind of your plain Jane, like ceiling fan type niche. I mean, those sell, within a week or two, pretty regularly, under $100,000.
Okay.
Yeah, that's really important.
And you're gonna get, there's no goofing around, some like earn out or some like heavy negotiation, right? Someone might make an offer that's like, you're listed at like 48 times monthly earnings, and they come back and offer you 42 cash, right? And you take it there. But yeah, it's not going to be a ton of that because there's a lot of buyers. There's just a lot of people that have, less than $100,000 to spend on websites. There's a lot more than there are people with 5 million, right? So the competition on the buy side is just much higher under 100,000. So they can't goof around and try to like get terms with you or pay you 50% now and 50% over 24 months. They just can't play that game as much for a $50,000 website.
Cool. So the good thing for our community is, guys,
got ready to sell.
Be a seller. Okay, go and speak to Justin's team at Empire Flippers. It is definitely a seller's market at the moment.
Oh yes, and Matt, another thing, a lot of your listeners, your fans, the audience here, we've had this happen where they sell with us a few times, right? And they kind of like get in the habit of building up and selling. They do that for 12 to 18 months, and they kind of build and sell. And they get to the point where they have enough cash or capital built up, and they go, you know what? I think I want to level up my game. And so a lot of our sellers ultimately become buyers because they put in the money, right? And they start to acquire other types of businesses. A couple of friends of mine, I'm not going to say their name, but they were based out of Chiang Mai, and they did this for a couple of years. And they would sell sites 40,000, 120,000, 70,000. They did this for like $500,000 or $600,000 to the point where they were like, look, we can keep doing this. And they did. But they were like, why don't we start like investing in businesses that are recurring, that are longer term? Let's get out of just the content space and kind of like level up our game. And that's something they started doing. So in addition to building the content sites, they were acquiring on the other end some of the recurring business models. So it was really cool.
Awesome. Yeah.
Well, the other thing too that I really want to bring up, this marketplace that's opened up a big opportunity for you, for everyone actually. And it's a common question we get asked, Justin, from our high net worth clients is, hey, can we pull together some money and get a syndicate?
How can we invest in this?
How can we invest in this passively? And that's a niche that you guys have seen at Empire Flippers. And so do you want to mention to everyone about EF Capital and what you guys are doing there?
Yeah. So we started tracking liquidity. So for any of our registered platform users, on the buy side, we ask for them to verify funds available. We do this because if you're going to be looking at a $1 to $2 million business, we want to verify that you have the funds. And so you can connect your bank account, or you can submit financial documents, and we can see how much funds you have available, give you access to look at deals in that range. And when we started doing this about a year and a half ago, the numbers started soaring. We now have, I think, $4.3 billion of verified liquidity on the platform. This is like verified incomes. About 40% of that is directly from people's bank accounts. And so we were like, wow, there's a ton of money in this space. The problem is that a lot of these people don't have the skills to buy a business outright. Like they need to go through course, they need to get their feet wet, they need to get through practical skills of like running a content business or an e-com business or whatever, right? And we're like, look, this is a good problem to have. There's all this money, and it's not paired with people that have the skills yet or interest maybe in running these businesses. We should solve that problem. That's a high quality problem for us to solve. So
that is
like, there's a lot of money and they want to spend it. Like, how do we help them do that? So we put together something called EF Capital, where we pair operators that are experienced, that have sold through our process, that have acquired businesses through our process, that have chops. And we pair them with investors that are looking for a passive investment in these businesses. They want exposure to the market, but they don't have the time or the skills, or want to have the time and skills to run the business themselves. And so we're matching investors with operators. Now, this is a new program, so we're taking accredited investors only. It's a $20,000 minimum per deal. We've done one round already, and we're launching the second round in early September. So we both have the investors we're looking to raise, and the funds range from like $1 to $2 million per, and accredited investors only. But we're also looking for operators. And we've got the operators for round 2, but round 3, round 4, we're going to be looking for qualified operators that have some experience and can point to a proven track record of sites they've owned and run and had experience kind of building up to run the operators. And we basically want to match them with money. We're going to tell operators, look, we have a bunch of money. It's a bunch of guys that have money. They want to give it to you. We want to leverage you up, right? Have you put in a little bit of money and leverage up to a lot more, marry that and get a deal going. So that's the long-term vision there.
That's awesome. Champions.
So Justin,
come on.
I can recommend you straight off the cuff a bunch of people so I'm happy to be a referee for champions that I've personally trained. If any of you are interested in this, to speak to, and I'm going to give a big shout out. You all know who I'm going to say here, aren't you? Nathan and Alexa, come on down. So Justin, I'll have a chat to you later. If Nathan, this is what I was going to talk to Nathan and Alexa. So I just want to show everyone how this works.
How you can step up your game, guys. Yeah. There's opportunities out there to level up. So I love that word that you said, Justin.
Yeah,
That's
this is the
really
perfect
awesome.
timing. This is so cool to hear. So I didn't think of that before when I spoke to you. I'm excited about the idea that we can finally say to people, especially high net worth clients, look, just go and speak to EF Capital and stick your money in there. But now, as Justin's just said to you all, hey guys, in Matt and Liz's community, there's tons of you who are good at building websites. You've been around for years. You've got a proven track record. If you want to level up and get into some bigger deals, I would strongly recommend, I think you need to have a chat to Justin.
But like Justin said, though, you've got to back yourself. It's not just a free deal. You've got to invest in it as well. So
yeah. So there's some skin in the game. So someone was asking about like what's the percentage? How does that work? Yeah, it's skin in the game from the operator. So the operator's putting in 5%. So for example, if they're looking to raise $2 million, they're putting $100,000 of their own money. The thing is that we're going to leverage that up. So they're going to get 30% equity in the business. So they're ultimately have $600,000 stake.
That's a good deal.
For their $100,000 investment. Now, obviously, the investors got to get paid back first, and there's a whole bunch of things to it. But effectively, they're getting a 6-to-1 return in terms of their leverage on the deal.
That is awesome. See, this is what happens, guys, in a booming market, and you've got. Remember what's happening at the other end. You got to realize this is the background we come from. We see this all the time. Yeah, I don't think some of you comprehend just how much money's out there, particularly these big buyers. They're the ones ultimately that are paying for these sites. Okay, so you're leveraging up your money 6-to-1 if you're a good operator. That's the sort of thing you can get into. And there's now, you got you guys who I should give a shout out to Empire Flippers. You guys got to realize Justin and Joe have been around. We've watched you guys. We're the last decade or so. You started out just like all of us did. Building AdSense sites. Okay, so that was your background too, wasn't it? Exactly the same as Liz and mine.
We started off building $100 a month, not even $50 a month AdSense sites. Like a whole bunch of us did, right? That's kind of where a lot of us came from. And so for your audience out there, that's like what's possible in this space. There's a lot that's possible. I mean, we were building $50 a month, $100 a month, $200 a month earners and selling them for $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 when we started out.
Yep. Yeah. That's cool. Brilliant. That is so cool. Yeah. So guys, you got to realize all of us start at the grassroots, like in any new industry or any space. And look at where you are now. And you must just pinch yourself over the journey. Here you are sitting today going, oh yeah, we've got how many $1 billion worth of funds sitting like
ready to go.
Well, I'm about to launch. Well, how many did I just hear you say? EF Capital, you're going to do four
rounds,
4 different rounds.
No, yeah. So we're on our second round right now. If we hit just the minimum raise on all of them, it's about 10 million. If we hit the max, I think it's like 20, 22 million in just this round. So last time we raised 7.5 million, and kind of our minimum to run this time is 10. So, but it could go up to 22. We'll see. But I know you guys said, isn't it weird to talk about this? Honestly, it's a little cringy, but like it is what it is, right? Like this is where we're at. This is what we've done. This is the truth. It's just it feels awkward. It's like it's like game money, right? It's like just funny at this point.
That's awesome.
It is so unreal. So so guys, if you're interested in EF Capital, obviously Empire Flippers are very transparent about what they do. Go and jump on their blog, have a read about it. I think there's a really cool blog article on there. I think someone's just thank you Simon. I think that's
Oh, Simon. Yep.
Simon.
Thank
that's,
you. That's
yeah,
the
Empire Flippers / Capital. But
If
you'll see what I mean. It's very transparent. They talk about it, warts and all, and what you can expect from it. And that's what we love about these guys. And they've been around for 10 years. They're definitely one of the most highly regarded brokers on the planet. So if anyone's going to manage your money, if you're into that sort of a thing, and these guys are brokers, they're doing deals every single day. They know all the operators, they know all the deals, they know the valuations. They, most importantly, they know all the buyers.
Yeah.
So if you want to be an operator, it's probably a really, really good opportunity, I would suggest, because I think the exits are going to be particularly nice out of this one. From what I can see, I think it's just such a big winner of an idea. It is, I mean, big congratulations to you guys.
Yeah.
It's a really smart move. Really smart move.
Thanks, guys. I mean, there was 3 things we wanted to test in kind of the first version of this. Like, can we raise the money? And so that was a yes. We were able to raise the money. And then it's like, can we acquire the sites? And we were able to acquire the sites for Portfolio One. The third thing is, can we give a return to our investors? And that's what we're working on right now. That's the big test, right? And we talked about like limitless pools of money. If we can get the third one proven, there is literally limitless amount of money behind this. Like there are people looking to pour hundreds of millions of dollars into anything that is getting above 2-3%, right? So
that's true.
Yeah,
totally true.
Yeah.
So that is so cool, Justin.
So
Thank you.
We'll train you up the operators. Cool.
Yes.
This
all
is
right. Come on,
perfect.
guys.
All right.
We got to train the operators.
We need it.
Okay.
All right.
Awesome. Okay, Justin. Well, thank you so much. We really appreciate you staying up till 1 a.m. to be here with us. Always fun to have you, and incredibly insightful there. I think you will have inspired a lot of people into action there. Yes, everybody, massive round of applause for Justin. Thank you so much. And
Thanks,
we're going to look forward to seeing you guys in the next step of the game.